The Aam Aadmi Party is facing fresh questions over internal rifts after senior leader Raghav Chadha was removed as the deputy leader in the Rajya Sabha. The move has triggered a public back and forth, with Chadha saying he was silenced while the party insists that he was touching soft core issues. So is this just an internal reshuffle, or does it point to deeper tensions within AAP at a crucial political moment? I'm Sonakshi Awasthi, and to break this down, I'm joined by political leader Puneet Nicholas Yadav, who tracks party politics very closely. So let's get into it. Puneet, Raghav Chadha's removal as a deputy Rajya Sabha leader did not come with a very detailed explanation. So, what we have seen in bits and pieces that AAP leaders are suggesting that he wasn't attending any key meetings and he was pointing out the soft issues instead of the hard political issues. What do you think when you look at all of this together? What do you think is the real reason behind his removal?
Yeah, well, so the thing is, this is something that had been brewing for quite some time. It's not something that's come out of the blue and, taken everyone by surprise. Anyone who's been following what's happening in the Aam Aadmi Party was aware that there had been a widening gulf between Raghav Chadha and the party leadership. And at crucial junctures for the party, whether it was about Kejriwal going to jail, or when Kejriwal was discharged by the court in the liquor scam cases, or during the Lok Sabha campaign, each time Raghav Chadha was missing. And so there was this sense that he's doing this deliberately, and the party leadership was not happy. In fact, when Kejriwal was discharged by the court in the liquor scam cases, as has now become the norm in politics, all the party leaders, they welcomed him and, claimed it to be a great victory. Everyone in the Aam Aadmi Party was tweeting about it and congratulating Kejriwal and all of that. And Raghav Chadha did not even forget, not attending the party events and all of that. He did not even put out a tweet, welcoming the decision in favor of his party leader, who at the end of the day did spend a considerable amount of time in jail along with other senior leaders of the party. So the sense in the AAP leadership was that Mr. Chadha is perhaps drifting away from the party. Some leaders had been openly saying that he's compromised and he's perhaps playing ball with the BJP and he's moving that side, or he wants to simply isolate himself from any of the other attacks that were coming for the AAP leadership per se. So, if you look at the larger scheme of things, all of the AAP leaders, the senior leaders of the party, Sanjay Singh,
Atishi.
and not Atishi, but yeah, Sanjay Singh, Satinder Jain, Manish Sisodia, Arvind Kejriwal, all of them got named in the liquor scam cases.
Right.
But, Raghav Chadha, there was no allegation, nothing at all about his involvement, or, because the logic that he was not part of the government, so he couldn't have been involved, anyway doesn't stand here, because he was, neither was Sanjay Singh part of the government, but he was involved, he was named in that case. So, but no such action happened against Raghav Chadha, despite him being a very prominent face of the party, being a Rajya Sabha MP, before that an MLA, a party spokesperson, and he's among the few people left in the Aam Aadmi Party, visible faces as of now, who's been there since, the AAP was still taking shape. Most of the other leaders have been shown the door or have quit, or, whether it's a Yogen Yadav or a Prashant Bhushan or any of them. This, Mr. Chadha had been there from 2012, 2013, since the Anna movement and all. But clearly, there seems to be a very visible break now in that relationship. And that's what we're seeing now.
Okay, there seems to be a pattern in the party where it's like certain MPs publicly disagree. like Swati Maliwal, for example. So they take positions in the parliament that don't always like align with the parliament,
With the party
with the
line.
party,
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
leadership.
yeah.
So can AAP afford such strong, independent
See,
voices?
I wouldn't call them. I mean, when you say can the AAP afford it, see, it's obviously not an ideal situation for any political party, leave alone the AAP. But for any political party, for its leaders speaking out of turn and speaking against the party line. Now, the issue here also is I wouldn't say that a Swati Maliwal or a Raghav Chadha are very strong independent voices. The point here is you're both, whether it is Ms. Maliwal or Mr. Chadha, both of them are members of the Rajya Sabha. They have not been, like I was listening to Raghav Chadda's video, which he's put out in his defense today on Twitter, where he's not addressing, the issue in the room as such, but he's basically telling the people that, I have been silenced because you have elected me and you have sent me where I am today, and I'm raising your issues. Now, that, yes, as a member of parliament, everybody is the people's representative. But when you're a member in the Rajya Sabha, things are slightly different. Because, fine, when he was an MLA, that would be true because people directly elect their MLAs. If you're an MP of the Lok Sabha, it may be true. In the Rajya Sabha, your this party discipline becomes a little more important because it's the party MLAs who select you and elect you and send you to Rajya Sabha. It's not the people directly electing you to the Rajya Sabha. And there, representing the party is it's your constitutional duty. Which is why you have things like the anti-defection law, which is why, if you go against the party line, the party can act against you. So, independent voice, fine. You may be raising people's issue. Of course, a lot of the issues that he's raised over the years are issues that most MPs do not talk about, and he's made a big reel, I believe, today and put out, where he's listed all the issues, from airfares and data, the cost of data and all of those things. Fine, they have an importance of their own. But what the AAP is saying is that compare that to the issues that the AAP wanted to raise as a party, which elected you to Rajya Sabha. And decide for yourself, whether the issues you've been raising are more important than the issues that we wanted you to raise. He's been elected to the Rajya Sabha from Punjab. Punjab has major issues which directly, of course, are also involved. Also involve the people, whether it's the drug menace or the law and order situation or radicalism and all of those things. So none of that is considered important enough for Mr. Chadha to raise, is what the AAP is saying. There is an LPG crisis going on right now in the country because of the West Asia war. The AAP says that, when we wanted a discussion on that, you instead chose to discuss about the cost of samosas at airports. So the people that don't have LPG cylinders, you're talking about cheaper samosas. Similarly, this session of Parliament saw the opposition file a notice seeking the impeachment of the Chief Election Commissioner. 193 MPs from the opposition signed that notice, including MPs from the Aam Aadmi Party, which is no longer formally a part of the India bloc of the opposition. But the AAP signed that. Mr. Chadha, despite being an AAP MP, refused to sign the notice. So that's what the party is saying, that you can't be constantly going against the party line. That doesn't make you an independent MP raising people's voices. It perhaps strengthens the opinion of you becoming a rebel against your own party, which has sent you to the Rajya Sabha.
Right, like you said, the reaction from the party, within the party, is very strong against Chadha. So like Atishi and Sanjay Singh, they've spoken against him. What do you think, when the party leaders, such big leaders, talk about somebody like this, is it like irreparable?
Certainly. See,
what is the course to do?
The thing is, if you look at the sequence of events, yesterday the Aam Aadmi Party informed the Rajya Sabha Secretariat that there's been a change of guard. Mr. Raghav Chadha is no longer the deputy leader. Mr. Ashok Mittal, who's another AAP MP from Punjab, will be the new deputy leader. Mr. Sanjay Singh continues to be the leader of the party in the House. And so when the time is to be, in Rajya Sabha, in Lok Sabha, in Parliament, every party gets a limited time. And that time depends on the number of MPs you have in the House. So the Aam Aadmi Party, anyway, being a small party, it's not like the BJP or even, for example, the Congress. You've got 10 MPs in the House. You have very limited time. So the AAP also informed the Rajya Sabha that from the party's quota, time is not to be allocated to Mr. Raghav Chadha to raise issues. That is all that was said, and it was said unofficially. It was not it was, of course, informed officially to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat, but the media was not told officially by the party that this is what we've done and, Mr. Chadha is no longer our deputy leader. There was no official briefing from the party. Subsequently, Mr. Chadha, was removed. And then this morning, last night he put out a reel which is basically kind of chunks of the issues that he's raised over the years as an MP. And then this morning again, directly hitting out at the Aam Aadmi Party leadership, saying that, I'm being silenced. Why are you trying to silence me? I've been raising issues of the people. Now, between yesterday's letter to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat till Mr. Chadda's video, the Aam Aadmi Party, interestingly, had not made any public statement against him. In fact, they had underplayed it and, downplayed it by saying that, these are changes that keep happening. Before Mr. Raghav Chadha, Mr. N.D. Gupta was the deputy leader. Before that, it was somebody else who was the deputy leader. So everyone should get a chance. Even Mr. Ashok Mittal, who's replaced Mr. Raghav Chadha, said the same thing. When we spoke to him yesterday, he said the same thing that, don't read too much into it and it's the party's decision. All leaders should be given a chance. So perhaps the party had thought that, okay, fine, everyone's anyway been talking about it off the record on what's going wrong, but let us not be the first ones to throw the stone, in a manner of speaking. And if Raghav wants to, wash dirty linen in public, it's his choice. And that's exactly what Raghav Chadha has done. And now you're seeing the pushback from all the senior leaders that you've named, Sanjay Singh or Saurabh Bhardwaj or Atishi or, Gopal Rai, all of them now kind of coming out and criticizing Mr. Chadha. And now, of course, this is what makes it ugly, because then it's going to escalate. The party leaders are going to say one thing. Raghav Chadha, he hasn't yet responded, but I'm sure he's also putting together a response, because he's the one who first went public attacking the AAP leadership. So it's not a good situation for the AAP, particularly also because next year the AAP faces two very critical elections. One in Punjab, where they're in power. Second, towards the end of next year in Gujarat, where the AAP wants to expand. So in that scenario, this kind of stuff happening internally is a problem.
So you said it's true. Chadha actually said that he was silenced, and AAP has been very strong against what he has said.
Yeah, in their response to
it. Right, they have given a very strong response. So how much of this narrative is how as a political editor yourself, how do you read between the lines?
As I said, it's not going to play out very well for the AAP. They already have the problem of one of their MPs in Rajya Sabha, Ms. Swati Maliwal, going rogue, and criticizing and attacking the AAP leadership on a daily basis. Right. To then now have another prominent face in Mr. Raghav Chadha doing the same. And as I said, this is now an escalation, because Raghav said certain things about being silenced and the party trying. He's of course not named Kejriwal or Manish or any party leader, but he's essentially said that I'm being silenced by my party. Now the party is hitting back, so it's going to lead to an escalating war of words. And as I said, that in an election, in a year where you're just 6 months or 8 months away from the Punjab elections, and then about a little over a year away from the Gujarat elections, when you're still in the and you're no longer in power in Delhi, which was your base. The party is already in that flux, so it will be a bad sight, bad political optics for the AAP. Also, there are already murmurs that there are more MPs from the Aam Aadmi Party in Rajya Sabha who the party leadership is not very happy about, and who the party leadership wants to sideline and either ask them to step down mid-term and replace them with somebody else, or basically people who they've sent to the Rajya Sabha who are simply not interested in raising any of the issues that the AAP is raising. Like, for instance, one of their MPs in the Rajya Sabha is Harbhajan Singh, the former cricketer. You'll rarely ever see him in the house. But when he does come to the house, it's not like he's raising any issue that the party has, a political stake in. And there are others, Rajinder Gupta and all the other MPs. So whether this is going to kind of trigger some kind of a domino effect of other leaders, I'm not just saying, that it may happen in the Lok Sabha, even among the MLAs in Delhi or the remaining corporators in Delhi, office bearers of the party who think that, because one of the things that stands out in the party's response is, which is very typical of political parties now, but more so and more pronounced in the case of the Aam Aadmi Party, is everyone's suddenly come out saying that, we're all Arvind Kejriwal's soldiers. So this politics of a cult personality, that the AAP has always believed in, that Kejriwal is this, cult figure that we're all foot soldiers of, and, we're all following. So, and that has its own drawbacks. So whether Mr. Raghav Chadha will now kind of escalate his attack a step further and directly attack Arvind Kejriwal, which will make it even more uglier, in that sense. That's something that we'll have to wait and see, because it's still been just, it's less than 48 hours and there's already been so much of drama here. Yeah.
So is there actually like a thin line between like pushing people-centric issues and then pushing people-centric issues also and parties' agenda also? Because we have two sides now.
Yeah, I mean, that's so, like, in this argument from the, if you hear what Raghav is saying and what the AAP is saying, that's very obvious. Raghav is saying that he's right because he was raising issues that directly concern the people. The AAP is saying what it is saying in terms of, him raising soft issues, or, doing soft PR is how several people in the party have said. Now, which brings me back to the first point I said, that ultimately it is the party that has sent you there.
Right.
So it is your duty to also keep that in mind and raise those issues which the party wants you to raise. If you're going to be silent about it, then be a principled politician. Anyway, we have a great dearth of those these days. So be a principled politician, write to the chairman of the Rajya Sabha saying that, I'm resigning from the party, and be ready for for the consequences that will follow. Simply saying that I'm not going to, I'm representing the people and I'm going to only raise issues which I want to raise and not those which the party wants to raise. That's not how political parties function, and that's not how parliament or assemblies function. There is a party line that every party MP is expected to follow. So, I mean, it is a thin line. The party can say that, what we are saying is also an issue that is directly connected to the people. And the AAP has outlined the issues which they say that they want to raise, but they haven't found support from Raghav in those. The SIR, the LPG issue, the issues in Punjab and all of that. Now, these are all, of course, people's issues. So you can't say that those people's issues are not important, only the people's issues that I am raising are important.
So Raghav is a young leader.
Yeah.
He has a decent national visibility among young people also. Do you think this has anything to do with ambition managing within the party?
Quite certainly. I mean, this is, of course, ambition perhaps getting the better of him. It's also, in a way, I would say, it's also expected in a political party whose genesis itself was very ideology neutral. You know, it's, of course, ideology has, you know, in the last few years or a decade or more, you've seen that ideology doesn't really matter anymore. But but you know, you'll see people from the Congress do a complete turn and, you know, shift to the BJP overnight, and people from BJP shift to the Congress overnight, and also ideology doesn't, you know, like come into play there. But in the case of the AAP, it is more so because the AAP as a party started with no ideology at all. It was a band of people that got together on the issue of corruption.
Right.
And you know, whose only thing seemed to be, we need to come to power. You know, and over the last 12 years, we've seen, you know, the party is like a turnstile. People keep coming, going, you know, it's all the people who were there with Mr. Kejriwal right at the beginning of the AAP, you know, of AAP's founding, or, you know, the India Against Corruption movement. The sheer number of those founding members who've quit the AAP over the years, you know, Prashant Bhushan, Kiran Bedi, Yogen Yadav, Kumar Vishwas, you know, I mean, Shazia Elmi, all of them, and I mean, I'm sure Raghav Chadha is on that path now. There's been and not all of them are young like Raghav, you know, you can't say a Prashant Bhushan and a Raghav Chadha on the same thing. But there is, of course, there's ambition, there's the thing of how much can you just withstand, say, the attacks coming from the center, being an opposition leader. There's also that. So there's also an element, perhaps, I'm not saying in the case of Raghav that is true, but it is a possibility, because this is what the AAP is alleging, that you know, you're scared of the government coming after you being an opposition leader. And what Atishi and I think even Sanjay Singh said, that, you know, you're too scared in Parliament, you're too scared to criticize Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister. You're too scared to criticize the BJP, the ruling party. So being an opposition leader, that's his job. So whether it is that, or ambition, or the fact that, you know, in the AAP, this politics of cult, of the Kejriwal cult, which you see in different formations and manifestations in different parties. You know, in the Congress, it's the Gandhi family. In the BJP, it's Narendra Modi. So in the AAP, it's Arvind Kejriwal. Now, whether Mr. Chadha thinks that, you know, this overarching kind of a Arvind Kejriwal cult is not allowing him to grow further in politics, and he needs to branch out on his own, that's, of course, for Mr. Chadha to explain, but that's also one of the possibilities here.
So you mentioned right now that so many people, the former leaders who actually founded the party, they had exited from the party. They're not in the party anymore. Somebody who's been removed from a key parliamentary role like this, what is the next thing? I mean, is it resignation? Is it exit from the party?
Yeah, so now, I mean, see, here there's a slight difference in the case of Mr. Chadha and Ms. Swati Maliwal. Ms. Swati Maliwal is an AAP MP from Delhi.
Right.
Mr. Chadha is an AAP MP from Punjab.
Right.
Now, of course, Ms. Maliwal has been on a rebellious path for a considerable amount of time, and the AAP hasn't yet asked the Rajya Sabha Secretariat to, you know, act against her, disqualify her and under anti-defection, and remove her as a party member. Because there is also a slight complication here. If, in the case of Ms. Maliwal, that if the party does ask for her to be removed, and the Rajya Sabha chairman does accept that notice and disqualify Ms. Maliwal from the House, because disqualification, while the party can seek disqualification and, you know, on certain grounds which have to be laid out, Whether to actually disqualify or not is the decision of the House and the chairman.
Right.
Has to, the chairman has to sign off on it. So whether that happens or not, now if we're to assume that chairman will, sack her, that seat becomes vacant. In Delhi, will the Aam Aadmi Party risk going for a by-election for Rajya Sabha, where how in Rajya Sabha by-elections we've seen, cross-voting and all of that happen. So whether the AAP can win back that seat or not in case of a thing. So whether the AAP has decided that, instead of letting her become a martyr and letting, and also in the process possibly losing that seat, let her serve out the rest of her term and rant against the party. We're not going to be bothered about it. We're not even going to respond to it. That seems to be the case with Ms. Maliwal.
Right.
In the case of Mr. Raghav Chadha, at least because he's from Punjab, he's been elected from Punjab. Punjab, in the assembly, the Aam Aadmi Party has a brute majority as of now. 90 plus members in a 117 member house. There, if they do sack Mr. Raghav Chadha, they can very easily bring in somebody else in his place. Now, whether the AAP leadership wants to do that or not, that we don't know. There's been no clarity as of now on that. So, since we don't know that, what is the procedure? One is nothing happens. He's just removed as deputy leader. He continues as a regular Rajya Sabha MP, serves out the rest of his term. The second thing is the Aam Aadmi Party writes to the Rajya Sabha Secretariat saying that, listing out reasons, including, if there is an instance that can be quoted of him defying the party whip, then the anti-defection law, the 10th schedule, comes into play, and then asking for him to be disqualified as a member.
Okay.
And then the, chairman and the House and all, they go into the procedures of it, and the disqualification may happen, may not happen. The third is Mr. Raghav Chadha himself, considering that a lot of what he's been saying seems to be suggesting that he's for great ideals in politics and all of that. So whether he will take that step and write to the chairman himself saying he's resigning his position because he doesn't want to be associated with the AAP anymore. Right. In which case, of course, it's a much quicker way because he's resigning. So the resignation can be accepted and a by-poll for that seat announced. So those are the options there. But as of now, till the time, one or the other side makes a move, we don't know, whether he's going to continue being kind of a thorn in the, heel of the Aam Aadmi Party inside Parliament or outside Parliament or both, or he's going to, resign himself. There's still no clarity on that.
Okay, finally, stepping back in a broader view, what does this episode say about AAP as a party?
About AAP, there are multiple issues here. One, it's a party with, as I said, no ideology. So it's an easy come, easy go kind of a thing for all the leaders.
Right.
You think, fine, right now this is the right fit for me, you come in. You think, okay, your career has kind of plateaued, it's not going forward, you move out. All of that. I mean, of course, these are things that also apply to leaders in other parties. But perhaps a little more in the case of the AAP for the reasons that I had explained earlier. Secondly, this vulnerability as an opposition outfit, which again, all opposition parties have been facing, of their leaders being intimidated by central probe agencies, by the government at the center, and how much of that are you able to withstand? So while Mr. Kejriwal and others, I mean, of course, for them, there's not much of an option. Mr. Kejriwal leads the party, but the others are free to come and go as they like. So it says a lot about the AAP's ability or inability to hold on to its leaders, and the cult personality politics that they've been doing, which also has its own drawbacks.
Thank you so much, Puneet, for discussing this issue with us.
Thank you.